book once the contents would stay in his brains. In order to help him memorize the chains of the ahadith, what would he do? He would go to the place, and this is why he would travel to Baghdad, he traveled to Syria, he traveled to Iraq, he traveled to Khorasan, he traveled to many lands. Why? Because when he goes there and he sees the land, he remembers the land. And when he goes there to meet the people who heard the hadith, then he would memorize the man's face. So he knows, yes, Muhammad ibn Maslama, Muhammad ibn Ma'in. So he would know their faces and he memorizes their places. So he lived with the knowledge. He lived with the knowledge. He grew up with the knowledge. Because the more you meddle, you see, when you want to become a footballer, you don't go to the playing pools. So if you want to learn to play pools, then you go play pools in a different area. So when you want to learn, memorize Quran, you just don't go and play football. No, what do? Sit in the Quran school. When you want to memorize hadith, you sit with the people of hadith. Each thing that you want to master, you need to go into that land. So this is what Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah used to do. He would travel to the different lands only to see the people that narrated this hadith and only to speak with them, so he memorizes their faces and memorizes their beautiful speech. Imam al-Bukhari would discover the names and chains that were no longer simple names, so that they're no longer names, they're names that lives with him. And because these names of the people were intimate and he used to interact with them, then he memorized. Abu Bakr al-Madini said, I was in Naisabur with Ishaq ibn Rahawai, and Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari was in the gathering. Ishaq passed by the gathering and mentioned Ata al-Khaykharani. They mentioned this name, this different funny name, so difficult. Abu Abdullah was that, they asked him what was this name, and he says it's a city in Yemen. So not only did he know the names and the names of the people, and so, and Muhammad and Zaid and so names, but he even knew Imam al-Bukhari would, when the people come across a strange name and they ask him, he would say it's a city in Yemen, it's a city in Baghdad, it's a city in so place. Because he traveled. And he knew the names. Muawiyah sent a companion to Yemen, and Atta heard these two hadith from Ishaq said to them, it is as if you witness these people. They would be so amazed when he would tell them, this name is in so place. They would say, Subhanallah, Ya Imam, it is as if you've seen these places. Of course he used to go see the places. According to his own narrative, he says, he began to attend the lectures of the local scholars around the age of 10. He attended at Dakhili's lectures in Bukhara. One time he heard a Dakhili read a hadith from the chain. So he heard one of his lecturer at Dakhili saying, Sufyan. So he's narrating this hadith. The chain of narration means like you quote a few names in this chain. So where did you hear this news from? He says, for example, Sufyan ibn Abi Zubair and Ibrahim. This is a chain of narration. Each hadith had a chain of narration. Each hadith had a chain of narration. So whenever he narrates a hadith, he doesn't say the Prophet on whom be peace said. No, he says so and so has informed us from so and so, from so and so, from so and so. Fulan ibn Fulan ibn Fulan ibn Fulan. And this is the way he would record the hadith. This is known as a chain of narrations. One day he was sitting with a Dakhili in the gathering taking lecture from him. And this scholar who is teaching him says of a hadith, Sufyan an Abi Zubair an Ibrahim. So he heard his scholar saying, this hadith is from Sufyan ibn Abi Zubair ibn Ibrahim. By surprise, he refuted the scholar. He says, this hadith is wrong, this chain is wrong. He is saying to his Ad-Dakhili, he says to him, can you excuse me? This chain is wrong. This chain is not right. He says the chain is Zubayr ibn Adi ibn Ibrahim. Zubayr ibn Adi ibn Ibrahim, because Zubayr never met Ibrahim. Zubayr from Adi, not Zubayr from Ibrahim. Because there is no way, according to the history, Zubayr can meet Ibrahim. It's like me saying, I heard my fifth grandfather saying, is that possible? My fifth or fourth grandfather, my fourth grandparent. Is that possible? Wallah, is that possible? I can hardly remember the things my father said, never mind my grandfather. So he's saying to the scholar, you know what? This chain is not right. Do you know how old was he? So he told his scholar, you need to go check that chain. If you have the books, go check the chain. And the scholar came back and he says, you're right. Do you know how old was Imam al-Bukhari then? When this incident took place, 11 years old. 11 years old, and he's telling the big scholar, this chain is not right. It's not possible. Today, even if you hear the hadith, you do not even know if it's a hadith. The people today do not even know if the hadith is right. For many, many years, we're using many ahadith and we did not even realize this hadith is khata. This hadith has weakness and is changed and is fabricated. But yes, we go reading our books and every day we read these books. And in some books you find there's 2/3 of the book is full of weak hadith. And then you argue, this is the book that brings me to Islam. So what? That was one means. Now you know. Now you realize this book has 2/3 of the hadith in this book is filth. It's wrong, it's shirk. So then what do? Put the book aside. Get a book that is more right. Why would you want to read a book that 2/3 of this book, from 5, 6, 7, 800 pages, 600 pages is khata, fabricated hadith? The chain, can you, wallahi, I'm on about the chain, the narrators of this hadith, not the contents. The contents of this hadith we do not know today, never mind the chain of narrations. Our scholar Muhammad Nasir ad-Din al-Albani was amazing. He was amazing. He spent his whole life, for his living, his daily life, what he used to do before was he used to repair watches. He used to repair watches. Do you know what it means to repair a watch? It means you have to have some little tweezers like this and you open and you watching and wallah, your eyesight has to be right. Sitting here for 1 hour bayan, you get fed up, you're going to go home in a bit. Can you imagine you sitting, you taking out little bits and pieces from the watches? That's sabrun jameel, patience. So when you deal with these ahadith, you need sabrun jameel, patience. Hadith will not come overnight. So the scholar was amazed with his bayan, and then he went. At the age of 16, he left Bukhari with his mother and he went to perform the pilgrimage. So he took as much knowledge as he could from Bukhari, and then he went to now Makkah to take for pilgrimage with his mother, and then he decided he wanted to stay in Makkah, and then this is where his real journey in search of knowledge began. Because in those days, Makkah and Medina was still good. Most of the people were good. Most of the people were good, even though there were some people who turned away from Islam, and they were the Khawarij. Even the people, wallahi, the utensils of Rasulullah is still there, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he came out and he saw loads of people in the masjid in small groups and they're counting pebbles. And Abdullah Mas'ud goes, look at these, the utensils of Rasulullah is standing right in front of you. And here you have the clothing of Rasulullah in front of you, they haven't decayed. And you have changed your religion, you're counting pebbles. In that time there were people who were, and the companion says, wallahi, these people who were counting pebbles and counting the tasbih, like you see some masjid, old uncles, they count this magical bead, these beads that they count. That's from the innovations. So they count these beads as if they're going to go to hell fast and fast and faster. Rabbi, take me Jannah.